Have you ever paid someone thousands of dollars to attract customers and patients to your office, only to find out most of them are unqualified? So let's rewind. How do doctors normally attract patients to their office? Maybe they have a nice website. Maybe they ask for referrals from other doctors, or, they put a website up and pray that Google finds it. And well, that may work with bringing patients to your office, but what it typically does is dumps a lot of administrative burden on your staff. You're getting phone calls only to find out that most of these patients aren't the best fit for your practice and what you can create for them. So I had an experience early in my career when I first started my practice, and we were trying to grow our TMS practice, and I hadn't started ketamine yet. And I hired a marketer. It cost me $3,000 per month. And once they got started, man, the phones were ringing off the hook. I was getting all of these leads. In fact, we were getting 30, 40 leads a day. I was so excited until we started calling those patients back. The problem was my staff was overwhelmed, and many of these patients were not qualified at all. Either they didn't meet criteria for depression, or they didn't have the funds or the transportation to do the service. So I went back to the marketer and was like, hey, we're getting a lot of leads, but the campaign's not really working. And he pointed to our SEO, and he pointed to the ad traffic, and he pointed to the YouTube views, and all of that didn't matter because none of those patients became my ideal customer. I was really upset that I was spending $3,000 a month for this campaign, and I felt like I just threw my money in the trash. But then I realized the hidden cost. All of that call volume was burning my staff out. At the time, I was pretty small. I only had 2 front staff, and it distracted them from the other tasks they had to do. So the ad campaign was actually hurting my practice more than helping my practice. So I did what most of us do. I started shaking hands and kissing babies, talking to other doctors, asking them for referrals. No one knew what TMS was. And it took a lot of time to try to build those referral relationships. And I still had to see patients. It was just too much. I'm sure that's the experience for many people watching this video. Are you tired of attracting patients that really aren't bought in, that don't want the transformation, and you're working harder than they are? They're not invested in their treatment plan. They don't listen to your advice, and you find yourself frustrated because they're not getting the transformation. Well, that's because you have a problem with the way that you find referrals. I'm going to teach you a way to find the perfect patient for your practice with a simple technique that many businesses use that you're just not aware of. So I want to teach you like the mindset shift that has to happen. We're trying to shift from this idea of being clinicians to entrepreneurs. So today I'm going to teach you about what a funnel is. Now, if you haven't heard of a funnel, it is an online way to filter potential patients until it's distilled down to the perfect avatar patient for your practice. So what does that mean? So what is an avatar? Let's start with that. That's important. So for you to have success in your practice, you have to clearly define who you're trying to serve, and you have to clearly define what transformation that you can create. I've learned that people don't care about your service. They don't care about TMS. They don't care about Spravato. They don't care about ketamine. They care about the transformation it can create. So you need to understand what your avatar wants. So your avatar is describing the characteristics of your ideal patient. If I can spell it, there we go, characteristics. So for example, my ideal patient has failed 2 or more antidepressants at an adequate dose and duration, or they couldn't tolerate the medication because of intolerable side effects. I also know that my ideal patient either has cash or they have insurance. My best patient for my practice has TRICARE, but that's our best reimburser for TMS. I also know that my ideal patient typically is in the range of 30 to about 50. I know that My best patients tend to be female, but they follow through and they stay longer, and so on and so on. So your avatar clearly defines the characteristics of the ideal person. It's like a fish. So I know that a salmon has certain characteristics. I know what their patterns are going to be. They're going to migrate. They're going to swim upstream. The grizzly bear is going to catch them. I know those clear characteristics of a salmon, so I know where to find them. So when we're trying to find an ideal patient, the first idea is we got to find their congregation. Hallelujah, right? But I'm not talking about church. We're talking about where do these ideal clients congregate online? Because that's going to help me understand how I want to run my ads. So nowadays, I know that particular type of person is on TikTok. They're still on Facebook. And when they're looking for something, they're probably going to search on Google. That's where they're going to congregate online, so I know how to find them in the future. So this is going to tell me that I need a social media strategy to get their attention. And at the time, I didn't have any social media at all, so I had to pay for ads. So you can pay for ads on Facebook and Google. So what this does is once you create this content, it drives them to your funnel. So what the heck is a funnel? You keep saying funnel, Dr. DuBose. I don't know what a funnel is. Okay. So a funnel is an online process that through automation filters potential patients down to the ideal patient. So with the funnel, which typically is a website, and there are different vendors for a funnel page, is you're going to have a page that highlights the transformation that you can reliably create for your patients. So my transformation is I take patients with stubborn or difficult to treat depression from a state of hopelessness to a place of happiness and hope. That's the transformation that I'm creating for my patient. And I know I can reliably do it with the services that I offer in my practice. So my social media and my ads are going to speak to these patients to get them to do this, just to raise their hand, to say, hey, wait a minute, I have depression. Wait a minute, I've failed 2 antidepressants. My doctor keeps telling me to try more antidepressants, but what is this? So my website is going to call out to them. And here's a key point. I make sure that I move them away from their pain and not just promise them pleasure. What does that mean? So here's what we all do. Come to the website and it says, be happy again. And then you're talking to patients that's been depressed for 10 years, 20 years. Nothing they've tried has made them happy again. They don't know you. Why should they believe you? So people are skeptical of an advertisement that promises them a perfect result. Instead, people respond better to being moved away from pain. So here's an example of an ad that moves you away from pain. Here are the 3 mistakes you're making that keeps you depressed. Oh, okay. Am I making one of those mistakes? Boom, they click, and then they move towards your webpage that's going to screen these people out. So my mentor teaches that, hey, if you think about it, someone's on the corner that said, hey, free $10 bills, free $10 bills. Come over here and get your free $10 bills. Well, if you saw someone on the corner doing that, what's the first thought you might have? Scam. This is a scam. They're trying to trap me. They're trying to human traffic me. I know there's cartel around here. You're skeptical of anyone that's giving you something that's too good to be true. Now, let's say that same day you're walking down the street, you fall, boom, bust your head open, you're bleeding all over the place, like, oh my God, my head. And that same guy that was offering those free $10 bills comes up and he pulls a handkerchief out of his pocket. He's like, you okay? You okay? You're like, oh my goodness, oh, I'm bleeding everywhere. Hey, put this on your head, put pressure on it. Guess what? You're going to take that handkerchief, you're going to put it right on your head. You don't know what's on that handkerchief. It could be snot, it could be boogers. Looks like boogers, but it's not. You get it, right? So the point of that is When someone is in pain and someone offers them something to lessen the pain, you're more likely to accept help from them. So when you create your website, you don't want to say, be happy, be free. You want to move them away from pain because they don't quite know you, they don't quite like you, and they don't quite trust you yet. So you want to move them away from pain. As we move them away from pain with our content or our ad, now they're going to come to the funnel page. And we cover this in my coaching program in module 2. And your funnel page is going to teach them how they're going to create their transformation. And you're going to demonstrate your expertise and your ability and your authority to cause that transformation for them. Also, your funnel page is going to capture their information. So how many times people come to your website and you don't get any information from them? So a funnel page is designed to capture their email, their name, or their cell phone, whatever you design it, to pick up, because you want to reach out to that person later to invite them to the transformation that you can create for them. Your funnel page is also going to screen the patient if they're interested. And this is where the magic happens. So the screening of the patient is how you distill down the patient on your web page. So some people do this with forms, some people do this with videos, questionnaires, things like that. And basically, since I know what my avatar is and how my ideal patient operates, my screen is going to check how many antidepressants they've tried. It's going to ask them what their insurance is, and they're going to ask, how much money they can afford per month, etc. So at the end of this funnel, people who can't qualify, maybe they have a medical problem that would disqualify them from one of my services, well, that person goes into a different pile versus a person that is ideal and hit all of the markers that I need to make sure that I know that they're medically safe, financially able, and psychiatrically appropriate, goes into the second pile. Those people become your ideal customers. The other people, well, guess what? They're important too. These people you retarget for other services. Maybe they just do med management. Maybe they do counseling. Maybe I have a book. I want to sell that to them. Maybe I have a course to walk them through lifestyle changes that they can make to help their problem. Now I have a system that works for me in my sleep online. And when I wake up, I have patients ready to go. That's how you use this tactic to change your practice. So let's recap. The old school way of finding referrals, well, it helps. It works, but it doesn't always distill down your perfect patient. The new way of thinking is using modern marketing techniques like a funnel page to distill down your perfect patient so you have someone that is motivated, that is excited, that is thankful, and they're willing to pay you for the transformation that you can create. I hope that skill helped you. If you want to learn more, I'm going to have a masterclass teaching all of the things that I've learned over the past decade, creating $1 million practice, all while not seeing patients every day. Ooh, have a great life. I want to teach you how to have one too. So sign up for my masterclass, sign up for my webinar, and hey, follow me online to learn more. I'm Dr. DuBose, and I'll see you in the next one.